I make no apologies in my last position, and I make no apologies for what I'm about to say. We now see so many Republican governors denying health care to millions of the most poorest and most vulnerable Americans by refusing even Medicaid expansion. I can't justify leaving millions of women without access to the care they need.
So Joe Biden in Atlanta changing his position on the Hyde Amendment, which prevents federal dollars for paying for abortions. Biden now saying he no longer supports that amendment, which is a bit of a change from what we heard just about 48 hours ago. Donna Brazile, former interim chair for the Democratic National Committee, Fox News contributor. Donna, hello to you on a Friday. Nice to see you. We're seeing a little flipping and flopping here, are we?
Well, I think the vice president really had a terrible week. When I say terrible, it's not catastrophic. He can recover. But, you know, the decision not to go to the California Democratic convention, and then, of course, the plagiarism with the climate report, and now the vice president deciding to change his position. Look, I support the fact that he has changed his position, but I do believe that this should give the Biden campaign some early warning that they need to steady themselves as they begin to focus on rolling out more policy decisions or even making more changes to their previous position.
Okay, a couple of things here. Let's just go through it. Politico called it an election year epiphany. Perhaps it was.
First of all, he's not the first candidate on the road to the White House to have an epiphany. Let me just say that.
But he's getting hit from all sides on this, too. The blowback was quick and it was fierce, and you just wonder if he folded.
Well, let me tell you, when women speak up, men should listen, especially women who will make up the bulk of the delegates, half of the delegates to the National Convention. Joe Biden also said yesterday that after listening to women, that was the opening line. And I respect the fact that he has decided to come out in strong support for not just Roe v. Wade, but making sure that poor women have access to legal, affordable, and accessible health care as well.
You know, it seems like he's given into the pressure around him. He's trying to win a primary battle. He's in the pole position right now, as you know, and he wants to stay there. Bernie Sanders said this. He said, there is no middle ground on women's rights. Abortion is a constitutional right. Under my Medicare for All plan, we will repeal the Hyde Amendment. Kamala Harris weighs in, too. No woman's access to reproductive health care should be based on how much money she has. We must repeal the Hyde Amendment. Point is, the blowback has been fierce. I think the question then goes to this. Democrats want to beat Donald Trump so badly. Do they allow things like this to blow over?
I would hope so, because, look, we have a long time before the Iowa caucuses in February. And so Joe Biden is not a perfect candidate, nor is Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren. I can go down the whole list, but that'll take the next hour.
So they're ready and willing to accept whatever they get then, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's up to each and every individual voter. I mean, people like myself will forgive you for having a policy change if you find out new information or get new facts. But there are others who might not. They may want a candidate who's a pure champion of these issues. I think Joe Biden has a good record, a proven record of leadership on women's issues, and I think many voters will give him another opportunity. Look, we know that other candidates have changed their minds on many issues, but this is a fundamental right that women believe that we deserve and we have earned 47 years. We don't want any assaults on our ability to make a decision about our lives and our health care.
Here's where it gets sticky. You're not quite sure where he's coming from, all right?
Oh.
Here's Newt Gingrich from 2 hours ago.
He can't remember his own positions. He'd like to be in the center, and his party won't let him. He'd like to be above the fight, and his party won't let him. He just repudiated his entire career on the issue of whether or not taxpayers should be required to pay for abortions. His entire career.
Remember, he went to Congress at age 29. It's a long time.
No, I disagree with the former speaker. I think the vice president has a strong record of leadership on women's issues. And I'm going to tell you something. There's an assault on women's issues across this country, especially under Republican governors, even a Democratic governor, my governor in Louisiana, in full honesty. So I think that Joe Biden is on the right side on this issue, and I would hope that he can explain it and make sure that this doesn't cause him to stumble in the polls. But remember, there are a lot of other candidates out there who are still in the hunt to become front runners at some point. So Joe Biden better start looking in the rearview mirror before he keep going forward.
One last point, Rush Limbaugh and Nancy Pelosi. I mean, this back and forth is red hot. Here is a bit of a theory right now about the amount of heat that she's feeling from her own caucus.
You know, Trump has a nickname for her, Nervous Nancy. and it's spot on. Nancy Pelosi, nervous Nancy's losing control. She knows that she is losing control. She's trying to pander to the kooks. She's trying to talk them out of what they lust for. They lust for impeachment.
He may be onto something here with her debate within her caucus, and think about the comment that was reported the other night on Politico.
Well, you know one thing, I've known Nancy Pelosi for a long time.
She's trying to keep it at bay.
She's not nervous. She is, let me tell you something, she is probably, if you put all these cooks in the kitchen, she's the only one that can not just, you know, scramble the eggs, but serve the entire meal. She is stronger. She's a woman of principle. And if I was in a fight, I would want Nancy Pelosi in the foxhole with me.
But there's no doubt she's feeling the heat from her members. I think we probably agree on that.
She's a leader. Of course we feel the heat. Donald Trump is feeling the heat from all of these subpoenas that are about to fly across. It doesn't matter. Nancy Pelosi can handle this.
See you soon.
She's tough. She's tough.
Nice to see you, Donna.
Always.
Have a great weekend. You bet.
You too.